Everybody, welcome to my channel Be Free Now with Maria. So today I'm going to start with my bag of words to see what I'm inspired to share. All right. Oh, that's a lot of words. Okay, we're going to start again. Okay, I'm going to go with these two. Okay. Ooh, depression and stress. Feeling heavy. Depression and stress. So, depression and stress makes me think of when we're having a lot of negative thoughts and we start to create unhealthy emotions for ourselves. Now, all emotions are, part of the human experience, but we can take a mindset that can create unhealthy ones, or when I say create, have us lean more into those type of emotions, because we get lost in that direction when we're having a negative mindset. Meaning that, let's say, for example, things aren't going our way, and then we start to have these thoughts where we're either being harsh with ourselves or harsh with other people, or pessimistic about the situation and about the possible outcomes. We start to lose hope. And when we start to think, right, or this nothing good ever happens to me, and thoughts along those lines, we will start creating these emotions, right? And stress, it's one of them, as well as depression. Now, depression, right, can look like, could manifest itself in many different ways and can be created for many different reasons. But the way we think is what's coming to mind in relation to these two words, because our thoughts are with us no matter where we go. We can say it's the environment, but it doesn't matter. Even in a different environment, if we tend to be hard on ourselves or to see the glass as half empty, that's the way it's going to be, no matter where we go, because there we are. And the way we see the world does matter. So we want to remember that our thoughts have a lot of power and they can create our stress. And sometimes it can feel like it's the external environment, but it's not necessarily the external environment, but rather the way we are perceiving the external environment. In other words, we don't always have to get our way, right, for things to be okay. So the moment we start to think that things aren't okay because we didn't get our way, right, we start to create stress for ourselves. And if we're going to create enough stress for ourselves, eventually we start to create, right, a depressive mood, right? Next thing you know, our mood is more depressed. We don't feel like doing anything. But it's been like, it's a spiraling event, right? It goes from here to here. And it can happen very easily if we're not mindful about what we are saying to ourselves, right? And what is that we're believing. So being mindful of it, right? Being aware of it, noticing that if we're not feeling good, then more than likely we are in need of an alignment of what we're thinking and how we're seeing things. And that doesn't mean that maybe the external couldn't be better. It means that we don't have to let the external dictate, right, how we're going to feel. It doesn't have to lead us to feeling stressed out or to feeling any type of way. It's making me think now, over the past few weeks, I've been working on some home projects, and some of the home projects seem like a big deal. It seemed like a lot. And whenever I felt even the slightest of the feeling of feeling overwhelmed or feeling stressed out about what was in front of me, I just reminded myself, just do what's in front of you. Just do this piece right here, this section right here, this project right here. And I just was like, okay, one more thing. And I paced myself like that, and yes, it took me a few weeks because it was a lot, but I got it done. And I got it done in okay space, mental space, that is. And how did I do that? It wasn't magic. It was a mental focus. I was paying attention to what I was thinking about so that I wouldn't create a level of stress for myself that would lead me then to feel, right, depressed, hopeless about, right, what was in front of me. And then I was able to tackle it because I wasn't thinking about, wow, this is a lot to do, but rather, all right, let me just handle this section. Let me just do this. So I did it in sections, and okay, just this right now, right? And in one piece at a time, as opposed to trying to dive all in. And instead of thinking about the other things that I wasn't getting done, like making videos, I just focused on the project at hand, and everything else in between that was essential for the survival, right, of my family in that moment in time. And that's the best that we can do, then that's the best that we do. But we pace ourselves in certain situations, right, so that we don't find ourselves creating stress for ourselves. Yes, it was a lot, but if I would have thought about it like that, wow, this is a lot. How am I ever going to finish this? This is going to take forever, right? I would have just worn myself out and stressed myself out, and then not got it done, and then eventually, right, feel, depressed in mood because of what I didn't get done, and then I'm going to feel bad inside. So I don't want to feel that. So then I have to do something, right? I have to pay attention to what it is that I'm thinking about in that particular moment so that I can stay grounded in the present and what I'm doing, and not let my thoughts run amok and take me into a direction that I don't want to be in. So that's just what's popping into mind because that's most recent in my life. But again, we can create stress for ourselves in many different ways, but it does begin with what we're thinking and what we're saying to ourselves and how we are looking at the situation. Things don't have to be small for them to be manageable. Things don't have to be going our way for us to be okay. And sometimes things aren't working out, or at least it appears that they're not working out for us, but they are. Sometimes one door has to close before a bigger and better one opens. So we want to remember, right, that what it may look like and what it truly is may not necessarily, right, be the truth of what we're thinking in that particular moment. And if we are thinking in a way that we are being hard on ourselves, we want to look at that as well. So whatever it is that we are thinking, whatever it is that is guiding our emotions, we want to pay attention to it because it has the potential, right, to make more stress and to create more stress for us, or to create more inner peace and make things go a lot smoother and lighter and easier for us. So, and more joyful. I will say that even though my project was big, I didn't feel yucky inside. And that was really, really important to me and powerful because, to be honest, I think the old Maria would have been like, oh my God, this is too much. I'm not going to do it. And this time it was just like, no, I'm doing this. I set my mind to do it. I'm doing it, and that's it. And I'm glad that I did. So look, we do the best we can. And we take it one step at a time is ultimately, what we want to remember, and that we have it in us, and that our thoughts, our beliefs, and what we're thinking in a particular moment is having an effect on us. And it can be to our detriment or to our relief. It is up to us, but the external doesn't necessarily have to change for us to be okay. We need to change for us to be okay. And even if that change means changing what we're thinking in that particular moment, then that's what we do to reduce our stress and to reduce the potential of that stress then becoming some form of depression for us, because we've created, a lot of intensity and emotion, negative intensity, right, with our emotions. And then taking ourselves into a space that we didn't really intend to be in, but yet we ended up there. So we want to be aware, right, that it's us guiding, guiding the wheel, right, or steering the wheel. It's us. That we have a lot of power, and we want to use that power in a positive way. And we want to use it to strengthen us, when I say in a positive way, in a way that reduces our stress so that we're not being taken over, right, by these thoughts and stopping ourselves before we even get started. So yeah, that's what's coming to mind with those two words. I hope that this video has helped you in some way, and that you have a beautiful day. All right. Bye for now. I'll see you next week. Bye.